You now tuned in to the Gumptown Podcast. I'm your boy Doug B. We ain't got nothing to talk about, but we got something to talk about. Let's go. Good people, good people, good people. Welcome back to the Gumptown Podcast, episode 115. I'm your boy Doug B. If you tuned in to this podcast, thank you for your time and your attention. I really appreciate you giving this podcast a shot. Today's guest is the founder and owner of Juice and Jewels. I'm looking forward to this conversation. I'm sure we'll all be inspired by her story. Let's chop it up with Jamika Ringstaff. Jamika, how's it going?
It's great. How are you?
Glad to hear that. All is well on my end, too. First things first, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to chop it up with me a few minutes. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, ma'am. Of course, we're here to talk about Juice and Jewels and all the great things you have going on in business. But before we talk business, let's get to know the woman behind the brand. So I know you're born and raised in the Gump. What was your upbringing like coming up in the city?
It was amazing. Best times. I grew up in the 90s, of course. The west side of town. I recently just lost my dad, so he held everything down, took care of home, and we just made good memories, And yeah, born and raised in Montgomery.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that story and sorry for your loss of your dad.
Yeah, but definitely the 90s was the best time to grow up, especially on the west side of town. So we had about, yes, it wasn't the craziness we get today. It was family oriented, everybody knew everybody. The neighbors were great, it was just a great environment.
Okay, yes, ma'am. The 90s was definitely a great time to grow up. I grew up out in the country, out in Wall, but I can definitely relate. And it sounds like you had a great village around you growing up on the west side.
I did. I always have had a great village.
Yes, ma'am. It's definitely key. So after you finished up high school and all that good stuff, did you do any military, college, or you went right to work?
Look, I went right into grind mode.
For sure.
I did, right into grind mode. So no military. I did some college courses, but I just wanted to make my own way.
Understood. Nothing wrong with that. College, military, work, none of it is the wrong answer. You figured, like you said, you wanted to carve your own path, so you did what you had to do. So just in terms of, what was your first job coming out of high school?
Look, my first job was Popeyes, Vaughn Road.
Popeyes.
So yeah, I worked there for right at maybe 4 years, and I moved on, and it did what it had to do. But again, I knew I didn't want to stay stuck. So that was my first job coming out of high school.
Okay, so coming out of high school, you working at Popeyes, and I'm sure you got a chance to work with people and deal with people, and you learned some great people skills in that particular role.
I did. I really did.
Absolutely. So let's talk about Juice and Jewels. That's a very intriguing name. What inspired it?
Okay, so what inspired Juice and Jewels? I started doing like a jewelry boutique during COVID because I now work in a hospital, but hours was being cut. So I'm like, okay, I got to come up with a way to make some extra money. So I started out. A lot of people know me from my jewelry pieces and selling jewelry, and that's what I love to do as well. So I couldn't let it go. So, and I also now I manage a Starbucks. So people know me from mixing things up, making stuff like that. So I decided to just do it on my own and bring both the best of both worlds together. And that was that's what inspired me. And I love to do both, so I couldn't pick just one. So I'm like, my regular people know me from my jewelry pieces and, stuff like that. But I just love mixing things up and coming up with stuff. I just love it.
No, that's amazing. And that's a very organic way to come up with the name. So when did you first discover that love for making jewelry?
Right at, I want to say maybe 2021. That's when it started.
Okay.
2021, that's when everything really started.
Okay, and that's when you discovered your love for making jewelry?
Yes, that's when I discovered the love for the jewelry. Now, the juicing started actually 2022. And it was like God kept giving me the vision, but it was like, I'm not gonna do it right now. Not right now. Like I kept ignoring the sign. You know how you're hit with a sign and you keep hitting you with the vision and you like ignoring it. So finally I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just go with it. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna go with it. And I took off with it and it's going really well.
Absolutely. That's good stuff. And to your point, God does send us signs, and we do have those different moments in our lives, and it's important to be obedient. Although most of the times we like to be hard headed and say, you know what, I'm not gonna do it right now. I'm gonna do it on my own time because we think we got the perfect plan, and even if
Mm-hmm.
we execute and get started on that perfect plan, things not gonna go perfect. God gonna throw some wrenches in there. Cause I think God want to test you and see if you really about it, see if you really want it. When you say you want something, or you say when you start pursuing something, you're not gonna go straight from A to Z. You're gonna go through a few hurdles. So that's good that you decided to be obedient. That's amazing.
Yes, I was being hard headed for a very long time. Like he really kept hitting me with the vision. I'm like, and I was scared,
Mm-hmm.
but I decided to really just step out there on faith and see where I can take it. And I can tell you, I have loyal people behind me, so they be with whatever. So once I got it started, and I let people try them, and just even without charging anybody anything, I just let people try 'em. And it really, word of mouth, that's always great, and it really, really took off, and I'm so I'm proud of everything I've accomplished so far.
Yes, ma'am. That's amazing. That's great to just hear that excitement in your voice. And even you said something just in terms about getting started and being afraid or being terrible. But here's the good news, Jamika. When you start anything new, you're going to be terrible at first. And then you get better as you practice. And and that's
Absolutely.
and that's the one thing we typically forget because I could take it all the way back to when we were babies and when we was first trying to learn how to walk, we were terrible, but we didn't let that stop us. So we have the ability to figure
Absolutely.
things out. So it's just one of them things to remember always. Just don't ever let the fear of not knowing keep you from starting. And you didn't. You got started, and kudos to you. Much respect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So just in terms of all the great flavors that you have with the juicing, I had a chance to check out the Peach Passion at the Plug Fest. So what was the first combination you came up with that you started selling?
My first combination, I think to me, it was the easiest. Everybody loves strawberries. So I did one called Strawberry Bliss. So that was my first one that I actually let somebody try. And it was like, oh yeah, you got to keep this. This it right here. And when you starting out, you thinking people just telling you anything. I'm like, okay, because I really want an honest feedback. But when I got other reviews, I'm like, okay, maybe this the one. And but yeah, that's the one that was my first one I actually started.
Okay, got it. Nah, that's amazing. So when you first started out, you let some of your family and friends try it out, and you thought they were just trying to make you feel good, but
I didn't want them to think they would hurt my feelings. I'm like, listen, I'm about to sell this stuff. I need the truth. And
right, right,
how
right.
sometimes you don't want to hurt somebody. You're like, oh yeah, but in reality, you will never buy it again. It was that type of thing. Like I'm like, I want y'all to tell me the honest truth.
Right.
Because I want to put this on the market. But as I went on and I let more people try them, and I'm like, okay, so maybe this is the one.
Yes, ma'am. Nah, that's good stuff.
And it's to this day, it's very popular. So I'm glad to know they weren't telling me anything.
For sure. Absolutely. So you've already talked about Juice and Jewels and just how everything came about in 2022. And it actually transitions perfectly into my next portion. So whenever I have entrepreneurs on the platform like yourself, I like to talk about three things: the aha moment, action, and audacity. You pretty much already covered your aha moment. You're working in the hospital and they start cutting hours and you realize you needed to create some additional income on the side. So
Absolutely.
after you initially had your aha moment that you needed to make some moves, how long did it take you to come up with the name and actually get started in business?
Um, I'll say once I got comfortable, I'll say it took maybe about 3 or 4 months because I wanted to make sure everything lined up, everything made sense. I also wanted to make sure that I did my studying on my craft and I knew exactly what I was giving people and what each, like I work a lot with ginger and turmeric. I wanted to make sure I knew what each individual thing did and what it was good for, because a lot of people don't realize, entrepreneur, you have to really study your craft and you have to study your craft and know what you're selling. And if you don't know what you're selling, nobody's going to want to buy anything from you. So it took about maybe 4 months to really perfect it like I wanted. Now to really perfect it, it took a whole year. So, but to know everything and learn everything, it took me about 4 months.
Wow, that's amazing. And hats off to you for taking that time to really, like you said, make sure you were putting together a good product, make sure you was perfecting your craft and understanding what you were giving people, because yeah, it's very important that your customers are happy because the customers are who keep you in business. So that's great
Absolutely.
that you had the mentality. So that last portion, that audacity. So it's one thing to have an idea. It's another thing to put action behind that idea. But to actually put it out to the world to be praised or criticized, that takes courage. That takes audacity. Who or what gave you that courage, that audacity to put it out to the world?
Oh man, that's an easy one. So, like I told you, I work at a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so my customers they're very loyal. They're amazing. So I took samples to work, and I let them try it first because I knew most of them they don't want it. They're not gonna buy it. They gonna keep it real. So I took samples to my job and I passed them out. I let people try it. Next thing you know, they wanted to buy them. So I'm like, okay, so they're good. And they were telling people and they were recommending. And I'm like, wait, this is just a sample. So that's what really made me, okay, if I can do this for the hospital, I can put it out in the world. So I actually started at my job first, and they gave me that extra boost. Yeah, like you got to get out there. Like this is cool, but you got to get out there. So yeah, you got me over here smiling because I haven't really sat back and thought about it like this.
Oh yeah, it's all good, and that's all good, and like I'm glad that you had the support of your coworkers and they pushed you and they gave you that encouragement to get started in business and actually put it out there to the world, and also the fact that you were confident enough in your product to give it out for free, because you could have easily messed that up and came out the gate trying to charge. Nothing wrong with that, but I like the Costco Sam's Club model when especially when you're dealing with food and beverage, like, hey, try this out. Let me know what you think. And you did that. And
Absolutely, yeah.
they gave you that feedback. You started rocking and rolling. So that's what it's all about. And again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, just in terms of having that right village around you. Like the villages don't stop with family. You had a good village of coworkers around you that was encouraging you, that was inspiring you, that was pushing you to get started. That's amazing stuff.
Yes, they are amazing. Like they love their Starbucks, but they love their juice and juice too. So that's
Hey,
okay.
why not have both?
I
Both
love it.
in.
Yes, I love it. It's so much fun though. It's so much fun. And last year we did we do like this football fever picnic every year, like
Mhm.
on the parking deck, and I was a vendor there. They actually allowed me to be a vendor. And when I tell you the support was crazy, like it was amazing.
Uh,
It was amazing. So yes, I definitely have great people behind me and I'm grateful for everybody.
Absolutely. And shout out to the company you work for not being haters and letting you do your thing and be a vendor, because
Absolutely.
that's important. Like hating is bad for your blood. Like show love, let people do their thing, man. Like ain't nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think they know I'm gonna get it voluntarily or involuntarily, so it don't even
So,
matter. So I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna make y'all money, but I'm gonna promote mine too. So, but
so
I'm just glad to know that we do have that understanding. All the jokes aside, like we do have that understanding, because if I can promote for y'all, if I can make y'all money, I can definitely promote for myself because I'm an entrepreneur, so it don't stop. It just don't happen on like the weekend. Like
right.
if I can work for them, I can work for myself. So I keep that mentality no matter where I go.
Right, no doubt. And to be honest with you, as you were talking, I'm just over here thinking, like, it's pretty much it's just a testament of how good of an employee you are at the company. Because if you were a slacker, I don't think they would be cool with you diversifying your income. But the fact that you clearly go to work and do your thing and do a great job, they're cool with that because they know that you're going to produce at work as well as in your business.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So I met you at the Plug Fest. So I'm curious, do you regularly get out and vend at events around the city? Oh, I got a better question. Take me back to the first event in the city that you got a chance to be a vendor at. What was that experience like?
Oh man, it was amazing. I started with my jewelry. At that time I didn't have the juices. So Jonquil Williams, he was my first vending promoter ever. And it was amazing. I was nervous. I was very nervous. I was very extra. I overdid it just a little bit, like, but I did my thing. But yeah, it was off of Atlanta Highway. It was really, really nice. And that was my first. It's a Black Expo we do here in the city every month. So yeah, that was my first vending event ever.
Did the Black Expo, had a great
Uh-huh.
turnout, and you went into it nervous, and that's a
I
great
did.
thing. Like that
I
means
was
you
so
really
nervous.
care.
Well, my table, if you would have saw, you would have thought you was like at a actual jewelry store. Like I was so over the top when I think about it, but it was a good thing because it attracted a lot of people to my table. But maybe it was a lot to pack up.
Nah, for sure. And I don't think it was over the top. If you got people to come take a look at what you were doing, like it did what it was supposed to do.
It
That's what it's
did.
about. Like
But
you
presentation, I believe in presentation. That's everything.
for
So I
sure.
did. I wanted to give everybody the experience. I may be at an expo, but hey, this is a store over here. So, but yeah, it was real extra. But I had so much fun.
Absolutely. That's great. Good stuff. Shout out to Jaqueen Williams and the Black Expo. I be seeing those event flyers on Facebook and I be seeing the pictures and videos. I'm gonna have to make it to the next one because I see y'all be out there having a good time and just networking. That's what it's all about.
We had so much fun. It'd be like it's like to me, it's like a big day for me. Like everybody, we be dancing, vibing, good food, just fun, and just really supporting each other. That's what it's about.
Absolutely. That's definitely what it's about. Just that community that's us coming together and like bringing out our talents and gifts and different products and services to those type of events. And that's what Montgomery needs because you've been here, born and raised. I'm born and raised here. And both of us know the reputation Montgomery has. And it's great to see entrepreneurs like yourself and expos going on in the city. Like that's dope to see.
Yes, yes, and then it makes it better, because we don't get the exposure other cities get. So it's up to us to kind of support each other and have each other's backs and build great business relationships and stuff like that.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So, Juice and Jules, you've done great things with the business, and I know great things are coming down the pipeline, which leads to my next portion, vision. What are your short-term and long-term goals for the business that you feel comfortable sharing?
So my long term goals, definitely, I want to get them in stores. I want to get them pretty much patented so I can really have it all the way legit. But definitely, I want to get my juices in stores, public, all the big stores. Short term goals. I think I'm pretty much nailing all my short term goals. I'm promoting. I'm doing everything that needs to be done for my business, but long term goals, I definitely want to get them in stores and other cities as well.
Yes, ma'am. That's a great long-term goal, and I have no doubt you'll make it happen.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. As we wrap up the podcast, I want to ask $1 million question. I started the podcast to highlight the greatness connected to the city. Whether you were born here, lived here for a significant period of your life, be it college, military, or work, you being a hometown hero. Jamika, what makes you the most proud to be from the Gump?
What makes me the most proud to be from the Gulf, you know, it was a lot. We really do. We have great people here. The city isn't what people make it out to be. I For me, I met great people along the way, so that lets me know there are still great people in the world. Just the people who I meet along the way and I surround myself with, it makes me proud to be from.
Yes, ma'am. Powerful stuff. The people, the people, the people. Much.
Like you said earlier, we have a very bad reputation, but to me, it's what you make it. You as a person, it's what you make. You can make it good or you can make it bad. But for me, I've had a lot of memorable moments here. My family's here. Everybody has been supportive. I've had a great village, so I'm fortunate enough to know that Montgomery could be a great place to live. But it's also what you make it as well.
Yes, ma'am. 1000%. So, Jamika, how can the people connect with you? What are your social media handles?
So my business page is Juice and Jules Boutique. Um, I should be on Instagram more, but I'm posting there, but I'm not there all the way. I'm working on a TikTok store. Um, I'm also working on a website. So as of now, my social media handles they're just Facebook and Instagram right now.
Okay, sounds good. And I'll put all of that information in the description of the episode. Hey, Jamika, thanks again for the conversation. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Good people, that concludes another dope episode of the Gumptown Podcast. In the meantime, in between time, y'all know what to do. Be blessed, be safe, but most importantly, have the audacity to be you. Gone. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate your time and your attention. Until next time.